Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back here. It's PiGFest, and we've got Bunny in the top right side representing Mystery Gaming. There's no mystery as to this man's skills. Give him multi-prong bio momentum. Let his Marines start to drop you to death, and he will hit you from all sides. Unfortunately for him, he's up against a player who is on an absolute roll lately. It's Cure. He has looked fantastic recently, very regularly taking Maru to the very edge of defeat. Very rarely actually wins the series versus Maru, but always has very close matches against him. And I feel like his immense amount of practice there makes him nearly unstoppable in the matchup versus any but the very top few Terran players. Anyone other than really Beyond and Bunny is in huge trouble when they play against Cure. But Bunny, when he's on point in TvT, is definitely a match for him. Now, this is a double barracks. Wait. Oh, it's the float build. I was like, why doesn't he have gas? Guys, he's going to float in, build 2 tech labs, and hit him with double barracks Marauder from inside his own main base. Now, what he's going to do here is he's going to place these barracks to create a choke point either behind the barracks or in between the barracks, and that's going to stop his Marauders getting surrounded by SCVs. This is a massive commitment on this rush. Now, if Bunny, with his second depot, decides to build it up here, oh, he doesn't build it close enough to the corner. I was going to say, if he builds a second depot up there, he'll see it coming. But this is not going to see it coming. Now, he's going reactor first. Normally terrible against early rushes, but because this is a slightly delayed rush, there's an argument that this is actually better for him than building a Reaper. If he can start, especially if he starts building Marines, which, let's be real, he's not going to. You're almost always going to go Reapers off a reactor first here to start. But if he was building nothing but Marines, he'd be in a good spot. Cure, for those who don't know, in TvP is known for cheesing on this map all the time. It's almost predictable. But I didn't realize he started doing Marauder. He was doing double Marauder against Protoss. He'd always do it down here. Now he's doing it versus Terran. It's a very unexpected maneuver. And indeed, Reapers are building. The problem with Reapers is they take 32 seconds to build versus 18 seconds for Marines. So, and they still get hammered by those Marauders, especially with concussive. Bunny, unfortunately, is not scouting, and he's about to get punished. A very clever build preparation for Cure. And Bunny thought he was playing a pretty safe style here with the double gas opening, delaying his expand, but look at that little choke point I talked about. He can fit a few Marauders in there, and your SCVs can only attack single file. So Cura, he's going to wait for probably 3 Marauders and then go. And his goal is always going to be to focus down Bunny's fighting units rather than the SCVs, as those are the big damage dealers. This is a dirty way to play, but it's an effective one, and that's what StarCraft's all about. Don't let your opponent get away with nothing. And in a matchup where the players very often skip the scout, Cura has found a way to punish it. Gets 2 SCV kills to start. There is a Hellion and a few Reapers coming, but look at that with the concussive shells. You just can't pull away, mate. Does get a second volley. Oh, no second volley on that second Reaper. And the SCVs, as they start to get surface area. Oh, he traps a Marauder. You can't really chase in there, can you? Definitely needs to pull a few SCVs to the right to try to get us around. The Reaper grenades actually pops the Marauders out of the little pocket. Very good Reaper grenades. Gets a bit more surface area with his SCVs. He's holding on. Bunny is holding on impressively well. Oh, but good focus fire by Cure. Takes out 1 more Reaper. It is going to be defended now. That Marauder needs to focus the SCV. Nice focus fire. Cure gets 1 more worker. And as well as this was defended, guess what? You're down at half the worker count. You do have a command center finish, though. There's an argument this might be playable. Marauder stutter stepping away, gets a Marine. Oh man, he's actually microing that very well. Cure being very annoying right now. But with SCV repair, more Marines coming out. The Marauders are getting diminishing returns. Bunny's microing this very well. I wonder if this is not really worth continuing. Oh my god, actually, guys, Bunny was so focused on recovering his economy, he cut Marine Hellion production to build SCVs in an orbital, and now he's getting punished for it because he doesn't have enough firepower. He did not think Cure would be crazy enough to keep building Marauders. He's like, yeah, this is done. I've got a bunch of units on top of your production. But the Marauders are so tanky against these low damage Hellions and Marines. And look at that, he gets back to the pocket. Oh, living rent-free inside Bunny's main base. Cure is one of those squatters that just like rocks up to your house. You come back from holidays and you're like, whoa, what? And they're like, I live here now. And they've got some weird loophole in the law where they're like, well, technically it's my residence now. You can't kick me out. Like, this is a disgusting build from Cure. And getting quite a bit of damage. Sorry, guys, we've got some lag spikes going on. I am dropping 0 frames. My computer is running flawlessly right now, I believe. But the ping did spike up really bad there, so I apologize for those little freeze frames. I think that's the server pooping itself a little bit. Korean server does do this sometimes, but hopefully it fixes. All right, that was a dirty way to start the series. Up here in the top left, Cure. Gets a nice, easy map 1 victory. And for those who don't know, he was actually called up late to come, and he was not here on time. Bunny literally had to call him. He said, Pig, where's Bunny? Where's Cure? And I was like, I don't know. Do you know? And I kind of asked him in the Korean cast, does anyone have his phone number? And Bunny was like, I'll give him a ring. He gets rewarded for saving his opponent from getting walkovered in the tournament by getting cheesed. And he says, you know what? I'm going to get a bit of revenge, mate. So he's going to try and answer him right now by countering with his own 2 barracks. This does look like a more standard 2-Rex Reaper Rush. And Cure is known for scouting a lot in this matchup, which will allow him to have the knowledge to respond. It still turns into a bit of a micro battle. It's not like you automatically defend just because you know it's coming. We do see the first Reaper on the way. Second Reaper will be coming out in a moment. What I love about Korean TvT is it can vacillate between some of the most turtly slow play ever and some of the most just all-in, in-your-face 4-minute game into 4-minute game into 4-minute game. And you never know what you're going to get, right? It's very rarely in between. It's almost always, you know, there's a few games trying to cheese each other. And then once they've got each other's respect, it settles into 1 or 2 really long macro games. I do think with Bunny involved, no, you're kidding me. What? You're actually going to build a factory inside the base? And you know what? He didn't see the SCV come in. So Cure, he's not scouted. He does know it's a proxy. But he's going to try and defend with Reapers, Marines, and SCVs over here. And he's building a second factory. He's got 1 factory at home and a proxy factory. Cure with a very clever build. He does lose a bit of production time on that factory. He's going to start building a Hellion there. Started the mine cancel to build a Hellion. He's going to try and build, I would imagine, 3 Hellions. Hide them, and then run in and start killing those SCVs. Here we go. Reaper's doing pretty well to pick off a few of these workers. But you don't want to lose the Reapers, and he's kind of cornering himself here. He could get cut off when he tries to rotate around the left side here by the SCVs on the worker line. Cure doing just that. Bunny does a high-risk maneuver. He does take out one of the enemy Reapers, and he's getting a lot of damage. 5 SCVs, but these 2 Reapers, can they get out is the question. The answer is no. They're going to get cornered there. Cure does slap down the Reapers, and that means there's only 2 Reapers left out right now, and 2 more building. So it gives a little bit of solid defense for Cure. On the other hand, do you wonder where is the command center as Bunny? Do you kind of question that? Did he proxy a starport or something? No, he's proxied a factory inside your base, mate. If the Reapers come home and stay home, I think he'll be fine. But what a crazy move from Cure. I think he basically just saw no wall off, and he was like, oh, you're proxy raxing. You know what's a really good way to counter this? Secret Hellions. And I love this sort of preparation. It feels like Q is coming in with a very high amount of understanding of how his opponent's playing and trying to punish it. Oh man, the Reapers are so far away. Those SCVs. Drilly boys run. Drilly boys run. But so many SCVs trapped in here with these Hellions. Even the SCV of Bunny gets itself a kill and a second kill. Double kill. Bob, the drill sergeant there, with 2 kills. He's going to go for a 3rd kill. Bob is getting ignored. He almost got that Reaper as well. Does finally get shot down. 3 Hellions getting 9 SCVs. He's going to get a Reaper as well. He's thinking about going for the SCVs. Gets another Reaper. Oh my gosh. And he almost gets that SCV there on red hit points. Still building Hellions here. Probably not the best idea to let that pop. The Reapers will deal with it. Q is going to cancel that. He does cancel and restart though to maintain some pressure. He's got a scouting barracks over here. Does Bunny. And Q is coming with 3 more Hellions from the front. Dude, if they run in and the depot doesn't raise and they actually like kill a bunch of SCVs, that would be such a frustrating... No. No way! No way! He just drove in the front door! Oh, Q, are you naughty boy? Oh! Q is doing foul things in this Terran versus Terran. Foul, dark things. Oh, right, all right. Fighting for the 3-0. He's going for a gas first opening. Wouldn't surprise me to see maybe like the Marauder Hellion attack. One of the builds I associate with the gas first, as well as maybe, I guess any quick Banshee build can also come out here, or like even the Cyclone Banshee sort of semi-mech opening, like a little battle mech opening. You don't have to follow it up with mech, but opening up with a few Cyclones and Banshees can be very cool. Bunny going for a 1-Rax expand to change things up. Interesting. Also doing an SCV scout. Bunny's like, all right, screw this. I'm not going out 3-0. Let's play very, very safe. Actually, he's gone gas first as well. Oh, okay. So they're both doing 1-Rax expand off gas first. Cool. Very, very kind of balanced between an expand build and a quick tech build. Does leave you a little open to things like proxy 2-Rax or Reaper sometimes. Especially Q's way of doing it with no SCV scout, where he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to take an expand. Bunny comes in, sees what's up. And, oh, Kua doesn't put the command center down. He walls him out. He doesn't want him to know what's going on. Delays his command center. He'll build it on the high ground now with a little bit of a delay. Whereas the command center gets on location for Bunny. I think this evens out. Bunny's build order is a little more direct with the command center on location, but he does invest in an SCV scout, which loses him some minerals and doesn't really gain him too much other than forcing that command center to be late. He doesn't actually know what he's up against. Reaper into reactor, very quick factory already on the way here. Actually, Kua's factory is very late. That's very odd. The whole point of this build normally is to get a very quick factory, and yet because he built that second depot first, it does actually have a pretty bad flow-on effect. I actually feel like Bunny's build, the SCV scout, and the way Kua wanted to deny that scout, slows his build down, takes away a little bit of the strength of it. I think a good 7-8 second lead on the factories, nothing to snuff at. Snuff? Nothing to sniff at. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That's not a saying at all. You don't want to be snuffing that powder. Not in this situation. You gotta be focused, man. You don't want to be blurring any of your senses, you know? You want to keep yourself sharp. Starport's on the way as well. Starport's just a little later for Kua, not a big deal though. Orbital does go down a few seconds behind. Both sides being rather respectful. I'm glad to see things have slowed down a little bit. I do want to see these guys clash in the mid-game. Who's better in the Marine tank? Neither side going for Hellions, just Marines. Cyclone coming out a bit earlier, whereas there's only one Hellion for Bunny, so his Cyclone will be just a little later. Oh, hello. Siege tank, interesting. Wait, siege tank but no medevac. What is this build, Bunny? Bunny is doing a very peculiar build, guys. Third gas goes down. No Cyclone. Why does he feel safe going no Cyclone? That seems crazy to me. Cyclone is a mainstay part of this matchup for a very good reason. You need it to help deal with things like medevacs, liberators, Raven harass. It's flexible. It shoots up, it shoots down. It's one of the best units in the early game of TvT because it can defend anything your opponent throws at you. But a siege tank into a Raven, second siege tank not able to build straight away due to a shortage of gas, and definitely an interesting build from both, from Bunny. Viking already building here for Kua. So Kua's planning a siege tank push behind this. He's got a tanker. Viking's planning to be very aggressive, little opportunistic push behind the Marine Cyclone medevac poke. But the early siege tank kind of shuts this down, doesn't it? Just pushes it back. Doesn't actually kill anything though. Reaper's a pretty tanky unit compared to a Marine. It does have 60 hit points. Fourth gas on the way already for Bunny before third command center. Are these two? It feels like they both know the other player might just come and try to kill them. So they're playing very heavy unit styles. No third command center for either side, even though it's almost 5 minutes. That depot will get picked off. Siege tank's gonna come. Oh, actually. Hey, siege tank gets a shot off. Careful there. Kua not able to get the depot, but he's gonna come forward with the siege on the front. Bunny's gotta be careful. He doesn't know there's tanks behind this. And right now, his natural's a little exposed. Siege tank's gonna try to find an opening. I don't know if there is one. I mean, it's all about vision advantage, right? Raven comes down. Oh, Cyclone does get blasted. But with that single Viking advantage, that's going to force out some defensive scans. Kua being very annoying right now, but Starport's on the reactor. It's going to start building 2 Vikings, and a second Starport goes down. Kua also swapped his Starport on the reactor. So both sides are focusing on the mass Viking build, guys. We are seeing Sky Terran versus Sky Terran. It's so weird. We don't see this build that often, but especially to see this build up against itself is insane. So you've got 2 Starports for Bunny, only 1 for Kua. Kua doesn't even know he's playing the 2 Starport build, but he's doing the exact same thing, just a little bit slower on the second Starport. It's a tank Viking war, but Bunny has 2 Ravens out, and those can definitely do some amazing counterattack damage. He's going to go for an attack on the natural. I think that's a bit of a crazy move. That siege tank gets taken out, though, by the tanks covering the ramp. Kua, oh, he doesn't manage to kill the siege tank. Great hold for Bunny. He did lose a siege tank on the ramp, so he's lost a tank, whereas Kua hasn't lost any. But look, now it's time for Raven auto turret harass. And this does feel like a very good Bunny hold. He's not ready to go out of this series just yet. He's going to get another auto turret in there. The units at the front. Now, the problem here is the tanks have ramp control. So without a medevac, you can't move down there. As long as Kua has vision of the ramp, your tanks will get killed by these 2 siege tanks. We saw a tank before, tried, and it almost got out of range, but it took the second volley from the tanks and fell. Remember, it is 3 siege tank shots to take out an enemy tank. Raven Viking poking forward. Equal workers on both sides. There's no big economic advantage. And technically, Kua is actually up a Viking. siege tank count identical for both sides, but Cure has the slightly faster tank production, so maybe half a siege tank ahead. The Ravens are going to be very impactful as this game goes on. Bunny needs to not mule at all. He needs to save it for scans. The Viking Raven comes forward. SCV gets picked off. Oh, this is actually looking really good for Cure right now. Is it, though? Similar Viking count on both sides. That siege tank gets shot, but it doesn't actually go down. 4 Vikings went down for Cure, 4 for Bunny. Most importantly, Bunny gets ramp control back, which means he can move his forces down. He can gather them together, and he's reinforcing quicker. He's got Matrixes ready. The Matrixes go down. 2 of those siege tanks do fall. The Vikings winning the air battle there. The siege tank siege and blast through the ground army. And definitely Bunny getting the better end of this fight. That early second starport did help him out. The siege tanks, the Ravens also giving him some value. He's going to land his Vikings on top. There ain't no way home here, mate. And that Viking barely survives. Very good trades there. Units lost tab way in favor, almost 2-1 in favor of Bunny. Remember, there is no third command center. There is no follow-up. He has a third starport, does Cure. This man is a mad lad. Probably would have been better off just building a reactor on the barracks and then swapping that over onto that 3 starport's a little bit crazy on 2 base. But of course, this is a mass tank Viking battle. The auto turret blocking the siege tank. Bunny chasing him home. This series will not end with a 3-0 for Cure. Bunny staying alive. All right, ladies and gents. Zealots, Zerglings, Marines, Tryhards, and of course, low effort cheese players. All of you, everyone in between. What? He misclicked. That's meant to be a barracks. Oh no! Oh no! Cure is trying to do a hidden second barracks proxy. Okay, he realized he canceled the engineering bay and made the barracks. Oh my god, he was accidentally building an eBay. What a disaster. At least he realized. But guys, I really feel like we've got a series on our hands now. You know, it was in danger of being a quick kind of one-sided 3-0. Bunny fought back. He's now scouting. Now, you can, with this scout, technically figure out what your opponent's up to, but you need to click on the gas and realize by how little is mined that the gas was late. Very few players bother doing this because this is a pretty rare build, and Cure doesn't even give him that chance. Cure just pulls him out. It's like, nope. And as far as Bunny knows, this looks like there's just a factory up here. Of course, there's a second barracks that should have already started a Reaper, but it is a bit delayed. We'll see if Cure can still find some damage. A lot of the times, pro players will actually build the engineering bay because it's cheaper than the barracks. So when they're at like 125 minerals, they bring up the eBay to see exactly where they can place it to get their mouse in the right spot. They then press cancel, and then they click build barracks and click it down. That might be part of the reason. It might just be that he's using the 2 buttons for it that are right next to each other. Not 100% sure how that happened, but a bit of a mistake for him. Now, Bunny is checking everywhere except there. Oh my god, this is... Bunny fans are absolutely in tatters right now. They are mouthing. That is unfortunate scouting pattern for him. Does a loop around without finding it. Okay. Quickly pulling home now. He's already lost the SCV on the natural. Good Reaper grenade, but oh god, he's already taken 2 volleys. He's got to be careful. He needs to pull that Reaper back. If he loses this Reaper, he's screwed. But with a Hellion about to come out, this is about to turn into a trap for Cure if he stays here much longer. There's another Reaper about to jump up the cliff as well, remember. Oh, the Hellion's out. But good defensive grenade for Cure secures the escape route. Very well done. Cure gets 3 SCVs. Big delay on the mining time there. And does get a bit of momentum for himself. He's got a factory behind this. His own command center has not started. Keep that in mind. It's a very big commitment here. Oh, no, Buddy. Buddy's in trouble. But wait, good pullback. And he actually gets 2 Reapers for 1 so far. Oh, 3 for 1. Okay, he loses 2 Reapers, but he's going to kill 4 of his opponents. Great trading. And that actually shuts the pressure down. An overextension from Cure. Maybe if Cure had like 1 extra Reaper out there, that could have spiraled, but the delayed barracks slows down the momentum of the position. Hellion's going to try to chase after that Reaper, but I think it can get out of there if it does a nice little grenade in front of it. Chuck a grenade at your feet, disappear, you know, like the wizard in the puff of smoke. Let's get out of there. Let's go to Hellion and Reaper try to defend him. Not the best Reaper grenade, though, and got to be careful. Bunny with some great value pickups. Command center's on the way on the natural. Factory building a tech lab. Reactor on the barracks and the starport building. 3 Hellions and a few Reapers. He gets another kill. Cure's got to put it back in his pants. He's got to holster it. Cure's looking a little worried right now, guys. He got a very good start to this series, but this has not started going his way anymore. The Reaper Hellion fights are being won by Bunny. Bunny, look at the units lost tab in that top left. 6 units for 9. Massive trading in the advantage, and that command center is of course, being dealt with. Now, Cure is trying to land what we call a troll barracks in the base to distract him. He's like, look, there's a barracks, but he's not even building Marines off it, so it's not demanding any of his attention. And that command center is getting dangerously low. 2 Hellions can't really defend this on their own. He needs to pull some boys down if he wants to keep this command center up. He's waiting for Cyclone. It's still 8 seconds away. Looks like Bunny is like, okay, there's no way I'm actually going to kill that, right? And he does get the SCV, loses 2 Hellions for it. Marines in the Cyclone going to take that barracks out with the Cyclone lock on. That sets on fire at 333 hit points. And it will burn down now. Very nicely done. Looks like a second starport again. Guys, has the meta shifted? I haven't been watching that much TvT. But Clem beat Maru on Neo Humanity. Maru was doing what was the meta for a while after Katowice earlier this year. Greedy, multiple barracks build, trying to head to Stim. Trying to get to lots of barracks. And last game, and Clem countered him with the 2 starport Viking tank play, right? And just got a free win on Neo Humanity. We just saw both players play the 2 starport tank Viking play. Now for a second game in a row, Bunny's like, I'm going to do it again. And it's good on these short maps as well, because your push gets across there very fast. Cure, on the other hand, I mean, he's had a little bit of a rough start, right? He's lost more units and that sort of stuff. I wouldn't say he's like dead in the water, but he's down 7 workers. He's down in army supply. And that tank Viking push, it hits like a brick. Does need to make sure he keeps up his tank production. Beautiful. Starts at the moment he gets the gas. And setting up a little bit of almost an ambush out here is nice. Now, remember on that last map, the reason it's so strong is you could siege the tanks there and they cut off the ramp. So your opponent couldn't move between their bases. You don't have that on this map. On this map, you have to just push up the natural and overwhelm from that direction. That being said, the command center is very exposed. You only need to siege up like here and you're already hitting the base. And that reactor is also quite exposed. Scan goes down. There's only 1 siege tank versus 2. So a tank advantage for Bunny. He's going to move forward and look for that reactor. The Vikings here. Ooh, and if you can camp your Vikings above the starport and kill their Vikings if they pop, that's great. Q is trying to get the Cyclone lock on in range. He could try to time it where you run forward and lock on just as the tanks fire on one of the buildings. It's a good way to lose your Cyclone, though. It's a very good way to lose your Cyclone like 6 times out of 10. Very hard to pull off. Oh, this is a great little setup. Bunny realizes it, though. He scans. He's like, yeah, not having any of that. Starport has lost its reactor, guys. And that's going to have to start getting repaired now. Maybe worth just lifting it up. He doesn't want to give up any Viking production time, but he's already so far behind in Vikings. 1 versus 6. Ravens are thinking about going for a bust, but there's no way he takes this out, especially with that tank on the right side. He's going to try and... He's like, wow, what can I do? Q was kind of behind it. Look! Oh! Matrix has come in! The Ravens getting taken out. Okay, one of them does get away because the Vikings were a bit too keen to land, but that's still an amazing fight. Now, Bunny's kind of all in on 2 base. He's building a Liberator, he's building more Vikings, building more tanks. He does not have a 3rd command center. He's kind of got to get the business done with this push. On the other hand, it looks like it's well set up to do it. What does Q have? 1 Cyclone and a few Marines for anti-air. Tank in the open is going to take a Lib shot on the way out. And this Lib is doing amazing damage. There's some joke about libs and conservative siege tank people getting owned, soy boys. I don't know. There's something there. You guys can make that joke in the comments. For now, I'm just watching a very nice counter push for Bunny after Q overextended a little bit on his early aggression. The early accidental engineering bay definitely not helping his aggressive opening, but I do think it was when he threw his Reapers up the ramp a bit too aggressively that this turned really sour for him. And those Vikings doing so well. They're going to take out the command center. Mass repair might not even be enough. The Vikings going ham. The tanks are getting cornered. The Raven gets taken out on the bottom of our screen. Marines accidentally drifting into the Liberator zones. And it does feel like right now he's cornered. He's in a very bad spot. The Marines are doing a little bit of damage. The Vikings don't want to go too far forward. I like how Bunny is not overextending. He's like, yeah, just stay in a conservative position. He's taking damage. The pressure is on him. He has to do something about this. And it's time to make something happen. Cure, he's right now praying to Fantasy. For those who don't know, Fantasy, Fantastic Brood War and StarCraft 2 player who is the deity of winning games from impossible positions. His devout followers refuse to leave the game no matter what. And the thing is, it's fair. It's a tournament. You want to always look for that mistake, but Bunny is being so methodical. He's giving him no opportunities at all. Viking Lib tank blasting. And after a very crazy one-sided start to this series, we're getting ourselves a Game 5. All right. Not going down without a fight. This man, he may be a cute and cuddly name, but remember, he's much more akin to the bunny rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This man will bite on your neck and make you bleed. Mystery Gaming's Bunny in the top left, forcing a Game 5. In the bottom right, we've got Cure. who somehow got switched onto blue. I don't know how that happened. I swear I put him on red. That's all right. We flipped the color boxes so you all don't get confused. They've changed colors. He's changing flavors. Sorry. Single gas opening for Cure. So it looks like he's doing a pretty classic 1-Rax expand. Kind of conservative for him. And Bunny is known as a highly aggressive player. Now, who here thinks Bunny should still go for the 2 starport tank Viking player? I think that would be a horrendous mistake. I don't think if your opponent knows it's coming, if you're not like already ahead like he was in that last game, they know it's coming, I think it's a really bad idea to do it 3 times in a row. Someone out there maybe is making an argument that's just a better way to play TvT. It's safer, it's stronger, go for 2 starports, get the Viking advantage, and win with those siege tanks in the early mid-game before Stim kicks in and that sort of stuff. Sure, I'd love to hear the argument. I disagree heavily. I think Cure will be quite prepared for such maneuvers, especially with his quick expand. I think he's kind of getting ready to just set up a solid defensive setup. I think we're going to see tanks, a single Cyclone into tank production. We're going to see 2 to 3 Ravens. I think Cure is just going to be like rock solid in this scenario. Probably 2 Ravens into Viking production, so he doesn't expose himself too much to those Viking pushes. And Bunny hasn't scouted. He's just going out with a Reaper now. He's going to go for a second Reaper behind it, and the command center will go down. So it is a pretty, you know, it's a good advantage on the command center, about 30 seconds or so with the 1-Rax expand. Oh, Reaper's going to find a bit of a lonely Marine there. Does dodge the grenade, but uh-oh. Not worth it if you get caught on the way out. He waits for him to commit to the low ground jump. Can he get out the left side? He goes straight left. I think he was out of there, but he's going for the scout. He now confirms it's a 1-Rax expand from the gas timing. But yeah, he's going to get caught here. The grenade, not going to be enough to get him out. If he went straight left, he could have got out of this base, and he would have still scouted what was going on. So good trades for Cure so far. He's got a bunker up as well. Behind this, a 3rd Reaper and a Hellion building. Not normally the best first 1-Rax expand, unless you can run past the bunker and kill some SCVs, which, to be fair, if my games are anything to go by, that happens every time I try to 1-Rax expand. Did we just see a barracks try to build a reactor here? Whose barracks was that? I think that was Cure's. I'm not sure. Both players are building a reactor on the barracks. That was very odd. Like, someone just placed a reactor there and then immediately canceled it. Reaper Hellion is coming out. Reactor tech lab on the factory. So Bunny, no 3rd gas just yet. I do feel he'd be going for that 3rd gas already if he was planning that same 2 starport play. Reaper Hellion's going to do a runner. Trying to get in. Good SCV pull by Cure, but he doesn't have a wall off. Good grenade by him. Does take out one of the Hellions, and good micro by Bunny, but it feels like Cure has already just done too much to limit him. Look at the way he's bouncing around. Oh, Bunny with some good focus fire gets all the mobile units. If he can get a few SCVs here, this will stack up some very meaningful damage. He gets 2 units, and he's just going to get out with the Reapers. Oh no, he's going back for more. Greedy boy. Oh, Bunny is absolutely a greedy boy, but you know what? He forced a lot of SCVs off mining. He got a few workers. Units lost tab looking good for him. This kind of equalizes after the more economic opening of Cure. 3rd command center goes down, so Bunny's playing super eco behind it, just trying to get ahead in that regard, whereas it is tanks, Ravens, and Marines for Cure. Cure actually not building Marines right now, which makes me think he wants to start a 3rd command center, and you can see this SCV's already been tasked with it. He's just waiting for 400 minerals, and bam! Starts it up right there at 4 minutes 30. So, overall, this is a very even game. You've got a little bit of a Raven advantage in terms of the energy for Bunny. But other than that, not much of a difference. Identical workers, similar army supply, slightly faster 3rd command center for Bunny. He's got a little bit of a faster 4th gas, but no one's built their 2nd and 3rd barracks yet. No one's got their engineering base. There's no like advantage on the infrastructure or the production. Normally, big advantages in TvT manifest when you're like, oh, this player has Stim and 2 reacted barracks up like a minute faster. They're going to have 10, 12 extra Marines out with Stim when the other guy doesn't have any Marines with Stim. That can be game-changing. Reaper runs in, does die. He spots the 3rd command center. Depot does get taken out. Nice harassment by Bunny. And he's building Vikings. Both sides are not wanting to miss a beat on their unit production. Q is the player who blinks first and says, I'll skip a cycle of production to get these barracks started. So he starts his 2nd and 3rd barracks. He's trying to make that transition. Whereas Bunny's like, tanks, Vikings, tanks, Vikings. I will not leave myself open. I will just keep making units, and I'll be the one to actually look for good fights. If Cure can defend without any bad engagements for the next 2 minutes, his Stim will kick in, his Marine count will kick in, he will be in the advantage. But right now, Bunny is building more army than him. He's committing more to a forward position. And we'll see what he can find with it. Q has been pretty blind in the follow-up. He doesn't know about this 3rd command center. This Marine coming in and scouting it is going to be really nice. The command center will float into view in a moment. Single siege tank comes in, and he's just looking for chip damage. I like it. I really do like that. He scans to make sure he's not missing, oh god, there's an army coming at me or anything like that. But getting a gas, potentially getting a depot as well, killing the SCV, not too bad. Oh, good lock on there for Cure. Let's get rid of a Viking, or at least forces it to pull back. Double engineering bay is on the way as well, whereas second and third barracks just started, along with the double engineering bay for Bunny. The second and third barracks are already down on those reactors. Q is already building a fourth and fifth barracks, but he's not building Marines. That's a little worrying. You've really got to make sure, if you're already kind of getting semi-contained and kept off your third base mining, that Marine production is very vital. Like, Q is powering up his production, but if your opponent's out mining you because their third base has landed earlier, then they will get ahead. That being said, Bunny's focus on the aggression does mean he cops a bit of a supply block on 101 supply. See if Gary and Bruce keep up their depot building. Does jump to 117. Should be starting new depots in a moment. Cure making sure he doesn't get supply blocked at all, is building more depots behind it. Seems like a very mundane thing to talk about in a cast, but I feel like in this mid-game when you're feeling each other out, a lot of players, you can tell if they're nervous or not by if they miss depots. And right now, Bunny is missing depots. He hasn't started any new ones. And he will hit a supply block on 117. So it's kind of a cyclical thing where you get supply blocked once, you build 4 depots, and then you don't build them again for a while, and you forget about it. That being said, if you catch 2 Ravens, I don't know if a supply block matters that much, man. It's going to drop a few auto turrets, but that already forces that back. Stim Marines come out. This is a crazy move. He actually snaps one of Bunny's Ravens. Q just double stimmed his Marines across the entire map. Can you guys imagine getting that order handed down? This is like, sir, the order is take a lot of drugs, run across the desert, shoot down 1 enemy ship, and then run home. By the way, we will have a little bit of healthcare waiting for you when you get back. You're like, okay, I guess we'll do that. Bunny did get out of the supply blocks, thankfully. Did a supply drop to help himself as well. Armory is well-timed for Cure. Look at that. His 1-1's going to finish. His 2-2 should be soon behind that. Bunny's still ahead on supply so far. But it does feel pretty even, all things considered. Wait. No armory started. Oh, that's unfortunate. The 2-2 is going to be quite delayed for Bunny there. So Cure, if he starts his 2-2 in the near future, and he does start +2 pretty much immediately, he will get ahead at least on that upgrade. Tank count, dead even. A bit of a Marine advantage for Cure, of course, from those earlier barracks that he built up. And both sides are now on 5 barracks. 4th command center goes down a bit earlier for Bunny. He's got a nice defensive setup. He's sending a little bit of a probing Marine force, but you can see they just cleared a Marine up there, so Cure knows it's coming. They can clear the depots, just kind of remove a little bit of your opponent's map vision. Bunny also has a Marine spotting that. Both players building a second factory at identical timings. Notice using the tech lab from the earlier barracks, which is now lifting off to build a reactor. And Bunny will do the same thing momentarily. When that factory's done, he'll lift that barracks off, build a new reactor. Pure Marine tank, all you really want in this scenario. Now, the armory was late, but he does start 2-2. About, what is that, 40 seconds? 45 seconds behind on the 2-2 upgrades. Vehicle weapons starting for Bunny as well. Cure has not started vehicle weapons. +2 vehicle weapons, very important for blowing up Marines in a single shot after they stim. Also allows you to, I believe it, I don't think it actually allows you to 2-shot tanks anymore. I think it used to. Cyclone does get picked off. Marines going up to the top side of the map. Marine does get picked off there as well. Getting these couple of Marines is not really important as Cure. It's more about removing the map vision. That command center is a bit exposed. Bunny's coming over here. Plenty of units. Should be a pretty easy defense. And I like that the moment he has like 1 or 2 tanks sieged, Bunny's just like, yeah, it's fine. Starts making the planetary and moves his army forward. Cure does scan it though. Cure's moving down the left side of the map. He's getting ready for a big push. There's only 1 tank left there. The whole army being pulled here. Auto turrets getting put down. This is not the cleanest play by Bunny positionally. I feel like Cure is catching him out of position with this siege tank army on the left. He's going to get a great siege angle. I don't know if you can engage this. The Marines do get kind of trapped there, though. Oh, Bunny just dives. There's not enough support for the tanks for Cure. It's actually going to work out really well for Bunny. It was a nice position, but only a handful of Marines. They got stuck in front of his tanks. Great fight there for Bunny. However, a bit of Marine damage on the other side. A couple of SCVs go down. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to write home about. But he's going to go for the siege tank that repositions and the sensor tower. Get in, get the high value units, get out. Nicely done by Cure, who's got his own vehicle weapons upgrade on the way now. His 2-2's done. If he starts that 3-3 in the near future, he can maintain the upgrade advantage. +3 attack does start up as the priority. He's the player who now has a bit more map control. Doesn't know about this missile turret on the left side. Ooh, once again, finding units exposed. I like the way Cure seems unafraid to run into the rally of his opponent. He says, Marines are the fastest unit. I can always just stim and run away. And oh, he catches a bunch of medevacs and Marines on the left. Bunny getting outplayed right now. His 2-2 finally finishing, but he just lost a ton of Marines. He's at only 19 Marines right now. And he's going to go for the drop in the main. Cure is all over this game. The turrets will slowly damage these medevacs. But how much, man? Marines trying to stim back up here to help out. The Ravens, the Libs trying to help out as well. Auto turrets doing what they can. It looks like a pretty good scramble to defend what's happening at the front. The double Liberator is going to save the day. Cure not watching right now. He will lose a couple of siege tanks there. Very well done. One tank goes down, make it 2, as well as a few Marines. 9 SCVs go down in the main base. +2 vehicle weapons is on the way for Bunny. Doing a great job on that regard. But he's down on workers now. He's lost a bit of map control. And Q has got a massive advantage on those 3-3. Well underway. He's up over a minute on those upgrades. And no 3-3 in sight for Bunny. Bunny's just hanging on right now. And I feel like he is running around with his whole army in one big clump. I feel like it might be time to play this a bit more like Maru. Spread your tanks out. Spread your units out. But the way Bunny's controlling this basically speaks to a player who wants to grab a big army, catch you out of position, and jump on top of you and choke you out. That is not necessarily the best way. It can work. We'll see what happens, though. Cure cuts in from behind, intercepts his rally point on the front. Can Bunny get a good enough position? He's got a pretty killer army. And remember, he does have a Viking Lib advantage. There's no air control for Cure right now. Marines do find the rally point over there. That tank will get overwhelmed. Nicely done there. Double drop gets in the back. The Marines do take out one of those full drop ships. Great defense there. The Marines do get pushed back finally by a siege tank. The orbital command center will get taken out by the Vikings. The air control liberators as well, taking out a siege tank, doing very well. But the double engineering bay goes down. Luckily, Bunny was not even making 3-3, so he doesn't really lose anything there. Hopefully, he realizes it happened and does rebuild those E-bays, though, because the longer this game goes, the more he's going to need it. SCV's trying to pull on top of these Marines. Unfortunately, the tank did not unsiege, but the Marines drop for Bunny as well, and he will clean it up. Nicely done. Bunny handling the chaos very well. I criticized him grabbing his whole army and making it play. When you've got the Viking Lib advantage, you have the better front-on army, and it pays off. The 3-3 is about to kick in. Marines are going to have an upgrade advantage. Who cares, though? If you're fighting tank versus tank, Marine upgrades don't really matter. Cure needs to find small skirmishes. He needs to find Marine versus Marine battles. But tanks versus tanks, the 3-3 is not going to help him. So I love the way Bunny's pushing it this timing. Yeah, he's way behind on upgrades. Yeah, his economy is not amazing. But having denied the third and forced Cure to migrate to the bottom left side, Cure's economy is not great either. Cure has a bit less bank. Bunny has more money. Nice move forward. We'll get rid of those libs. Ooh, one lib still survives, though. Got to guard those liberators with the tanks. Here we go. Marines coming in from the left. They will take out that liberator, and that's very important. Cure needed to slow this assault right here. If he wasn't able to stop this, the libs moving forward, he was in big trouble. Raven tank there is going to force another one of these barracks to fall back, building more reactors to the right side of this. 3 more command centers building behind for Bunny. He does not know about the engineering bays. Yes, he does. As I call him out, I'm like, he forgot about the engineering bays. Bunny's like, put some respect on my name, pig. And he chucks them down. He's going to start 3-3 eventually and work his way back into a good position for the macro game. But a lot of his army's on the front. And oh, Cure scans it. Cure sees mass Marine on the front. He's like, well, you can't have anything at home. He's just going to counterattack. There is a bunch of tanks there, but they don't have any support. The Marines could either drop on top or dive right through. Bunny has no idea right now. He does not. Oh, he sees it. He sees it. Bunny needs to pull back right now. He's trying to move forward with his tanks, but he's got to do something about this huge Marine backstab. Mass tanks. Oh, okay. 3 tanks in range. Good enough volleys. That was Cure's moment. I really thought he had to do something there. He wasn't able to. Bunny's getting +3 vehicle weapons. He starts his 3-3. So the upgrade advantage, the one thing going for Cure, it's on a timer right now. And I really think the handling of that double drop in the main was one of the most important things. In the midst of that chaos, if you, with the upgrade advantage, can get Marines in their production and their backline, you can wreak havoc. But if you're not able to catch them off like that, it's a big problem. Now, these Marines may have better upgrades, but look at that. The Marines are outnumbering and coming from 2 sides. Bunny is all over this game. Look at this tank position. That is so oppressive, so hard to deal with. Vikings on all sides. Oh, you thought you got away in those medevacs. The Vikings are like, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. They come down, start forcing those medevacs to run away. Cure He needs to force a giant marine surround battle, but he's not able to get it. The medevac of marines does escape. Bunny's going for a crazy engage. The marines are a little bit far back. As they come forward, they take a good fight versus the enemy marines, but he's already lost all of his siege tanks, and that is all Bunny needed in that scenario. That was a beautiful engagement. He's got ramp control, and once you get ramp control, that means you can shift your army left and deny the bases. Command center in the top right does get dealt with by that drop. Bunny's going to try to move over there with his reinforce to deal with it. Kua is desperate, though. He started this series off 2-0 with a massive advantage, but he's not been able to continue it from there. Bunny has fought back like a cornered friggin' wildebeest, man. Something that you don't think is that fearsome, but then you see that video of the lion, like, just kind of catching it, and it just turns and, like, tusks it, you know? It just flips the lion into the air, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that thing could do that. I didn't even realize he could do that. Or a bunny jumping on his neck and biting his throat. I guess that's probably a better metaphor. We should probably not mix our metaphors too much, right? Gonna need a holy hand grenade to bring this one back as Kua. Kua is in a very, very big spot of trouble, man. I don't know if he's got any of those holy hand grenades. The positioning is just so solid for Bunny. He's like defending the counterattacks. He's not really letting anything happen. Here we go! He's gonna go for a crazy engage. It's desperate, though. It's so desperate. Those +2 tanks blast through the Marines, and Bunny looking unstoppable in those final games. A rough start to the series, but he turns it around with fantastic play.